The unseen path, when life doesn't make sense. Have you ever stared into a situation so murky it felt like a physical fog, a disorienting cloud where the next step is completely obscured? Picture Alex frozen as the ground shifts unexpectedly. Perhaps it's the stark silence after a "we need to talk," the sterile white of a doctor's office delivering bewildering news, or the sudden emptiness of a desk where a career once thrived. A choked whisper escapes, "How can this even be happening?" It's that universal punch to the gut, that feeling of being utterly adrift, where the world seems to spin out of control and every familiar landmark vanishes into the haze. The weight of the unknown presses down, heavy and unrelenting, leaving Alex to grapple with a heart pounding in confusion and fear. But then, from some deep, almost forgotten well of memory, a phrase surfaces, a lifeline. And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good. Romans 8 verse 28. The words hang there, stark and almost offensively optimistic against the raw canvas of Alex's present turmoil. All things. Alex scoffs internally. This gut-wrenching chaos. This searing pain. The promise feels like a cruel riddle, a taunt in the face of such disarray. Yet, something in those ancient words stirs, a fragile, tentative grip, like a hand reaching through the fog. Alex clings to it, a tattered map for an unknown, unwelcome journey, wondering how such an audacious claim of goodness could possibly navigate the current storm. In that moment, Alex's heart, bruised and trembling, turns instinctively toward prayer. It's not the polished prayer of a Sunday service, but a raw, stumbling cry to God. "Lord, I don't understand," Alex whispers, voice cracking under the weight of doubt and desperation. "This hurts. This doesn't make sense. How can this be part of your plan?" The words spill out, unfiltered, a plea born from the ache of not knowing. Yet as Alex speaks, there's a subtle shift, a sense that these words, frail as they are being heard. The act of praying, of laying the chaos before God, becomes a small anchor in the storm. It's not an answer, not yet, but a surrender, a decision to trust that the one who spoke the stars into being might still be weaving something good from this unraveling tapestry. Alex recalls another verse, one that feels like a companion in this darkness. "Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you." 1 Peter 5 verse 7. The invitation is almost too tender, too personal. Could the creator of the universe truly care about this moment, this pain? Alex hesitates, then prays again, more boldly this time. "God, I'm scared. I'm lost. Take this burden, please. Show me the way forward, even if it's just one step." The fog doesn't lift, not immediately, but there's a warmth, a quiet assurance that God is near, listening, working in ways unseen. Alex thinks of Jesus in Gethsemane, sweating blood, pleading for another way, yet submitting to the Father's will. If Christ himself could face such anguish through prayer, perhaps Alex can too. The prayer deepens, becoming a dialogue with the divine. "Father, if this is your path for me, give me strength to walk it. If this pain has a purpose, reveal it in your time. Help me trust you when I can't see." Alex begins to name the fears, the broken relationship, the uncertain diagnosis, the shattered dream, offering each to God like stones too heavy to carry alone. With each word, the burden lightens, not because the circumstances change, but because Alex is no longer facing them in isolation. The promise of Romans 8 verse 28 starts to take root, not as a trite assurance that everything will be fine, but as a reminder that God's goodness is bigger than this moment's pain. In the days that follow, Alex returns to prayer, sometimes with words, sometimes in silence, simply resting in God's presence. The fog remains, but there are glimmers, small moments of clarity, unexpected kindnesses, a strength that seems to come from beyond. Alex begins to see the journey not as a punishment, but as a pilgrimage, one where every step, however faltering, is held in God's hands. The prayer becomes a rhythm, a lifeline. "Lord, I don't know the way, but you do. Lead me. Redeem this. Make it good." And somehow, in the mystery of God's grace, Alex finds the courage to keep walking, trusting that the one who hears every prayer is crafting a story of hope from the fragments of despair. The weight of the unseen, when all things feels impossible. Clutching that slender thread of Romans 8 verse 28, Alex almost immediately slammed into the wall of its seeming impossibility. How could anyone genuinely believe all things work for good when faced with the brutal sting of betrayal, the deafening silence that follows a desperate, heartfelt prayer for a loved one who only gets worse? A bitter thought surfaces. Easy words when the sun's shining, aren't they? The verse, once a comfort, now echoed with a sharp, almost mocking edge. Isn't this just the human condition? We crave certainty, a detailed schematic of our lives, a divine strategy meeting where we get the full presentation, Q&A included. We want the blueprint, not a blindfold and a softly whispered, "Just trust me." Who wouldn't? Alex's mind raced, an internal prosecutor firing off questions at the heavens. Why this, God? Why now? What could possibly be the plan here? Did you miss that memo on my preferred life trajectory? The frustration was palpable, a tightening in the chest. But then a shift. Not a booming voice from the clouds, no sudden angelic visitation with a PowerPoint of the divine plan. Instead, an almost imperceptible warmth, a subtle sense of presence, like a forgotten fragrance that suddenly reminds you of a cherished, faithful friend. It wasn't an explanation. It was simpler, yet somehow more profound, an assurance, a gentle nudge that whispered, "I am here." This wasn't the answer Alex had demanded, the clarity so desperately sought. No, this was different, an unexpected, almost unsettling form of comfort. A divine mystery indeed. God offering not easy answers, but himself. How could this presence, this quiet companionship, possibly be enough when the unanswered questions still screamed so loudly? Alex sat with this unsettling peace, the darkness still present, but perhaps, just perhaps, a little less lonely. The weight of the unseen remained, but was there a different way to carry it? The unfolding mystery, finding God in affliction and waiting. The quiet comfort of God's presence, though a balm, didn't magically erase the jagged edges of Alex's reality. If God was present, why was the suffering still so acute, the path so stubbornly obscured? It's a question that echoes through centuries of faith, isn't it? Then a new wave of doubt, colder this time, washed over Alex. Wait a minute. The Bible itself says even the righteous suffer. So, what's the actual point of trying, of believing, if hardship is inevitable anyway? The thought felt dangerously close to despair. Alex's mind flashed to Psalm 34 verse 19. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. Deliverance, not prevention. That distinction hit hard. This wasn't some divine insurance policy against pain. Faith doesn't build a bubble around you. Life isn't always fair. Troubles arrive uninvited, even for those who genuinely love and follow God. Alex pictured it vividly. A door of opportunity, creaking open with promise, only to be slammed shut with a resounding, hope-crushing thud. A desperate prayer, launched with fervent faith, now seemed to stretch into an agonizing, endless silence, each passing day a fresh layer of disappointment. This, Alex realized, was the raw heart of affliction. Just then, while listlessly flipping through an old Bible, something caught Alex's eye. Tucked between the pages, a tiny, pressed wildflower, impossibly fragile, yet somehow perfectly preserved. Years old, at least. It made no logical sense in that moment, a completely random discovery. Yet a fleeting thought, a spark. Survival? Deliverance? Could this impossibly delicate thing, having endured being crushed and forgotten, be a whisper of something else? The hope Alex began to sense wasn't in dodging the bullets of life, but in the one who meets you in the crossfire, the deliverer. The understanding was dawning. This deliverance operates on a divine timetable, not Alex's frantic, impatient one. Alex stared at the flower, This small, perplexing symbol of unexpected resilience, a quiet challenge to the feeling that everything was impossibly, irrevocably late. If patience was the currency, what was the promised return, and when could one expect God's perfect timing to finally kick in? The invitation to transformation, beyond understanding to trust. That small, pressed flower, a fragile testament to endurance resting in Alex's palm, felt like a dare. If God's timing was so perfect, why did it so often feel like an eternity of waiting in the dark? The frustration simmered, threatening to boil over. God, how are you going to fix this mess? Seriously, what are you doing? The cry was raw, unfiltered, a desperate plea hurled into the silence. But the answer that settled wasn't a detailed strategy or a celestial course correction. Instead, it was a quiet, persistent invitation. You may not understand now, but I am working and I am with you. How infuriatingly simple, yet how profoundly challenging is that? This is the crux of God's sovereignty, isn't it? The unsettling truth that He remains in complete control even when your world is spinning wildly, a chaotic blur. His ways, as frustrating as it can be to admit, are higher than our carefully constructed plans. His thoughts delve deeper than our most profound analyses, and His love remains a constant, unwavering anchor in the turbulent sea of our emotions. He's not late, He's not distant, and He is not, contrary to how it might feel, wasting your pain. Have you ever felt that? That sense of your suffering being utterly pointless? Then, another layer of this divine mystery unfolded. Rummaging through old boxes, Alex stumbled upon a forgotten journal from years ago, its pages filled with a younger version's anxieties, fears scribbled in a desperate hand during a past, seemingly insurmountable struggle. Reading it now, Alex saw with shocking clarity how God had woven solutions in ways then unimaginable, paths cleared that had been utterly invisible at the time. This old journal, smelling faintly of dust and time, wasn't a direct answer to the current crisis, but it was an undeniable clue, a breadcrumb trail leading back to God's mysterious methods. He invites trust, not just when the skies are clear and the path is smooth, but especially when the storm rages and the waiting stretches your patience exercitios to its breaking point. The critical question began to shift for Alex, from the agonizing, when will this nightmare finally end, to the potentially transformative, what, oh God, are you shaping in me through this? Could this trial, this very pain, be birthing a deeper capacity for prayer? Could it be cultivating a compassion that will one day bless someone else walking a similar shadowed path? Is this agonizing weight actually stretching the muscle of trust, preparing Alex for something greater yet unseen? The image of God as the potter and Alex as the clay came to mind, the master artisan seeing the masterpiece even when all Alex felt was a misshapen, unlovely mess. The author, still writing the story. He's not done yet. Alex held the old journal, its words a tangible testament to past faithfulness, a new, albeit fragile, resolve solidifying. Not to understand everything, but to trust the artisan at work, even if the current shape felt painfully awkward and terrifyingly unfinished. The surrender that strengthens, prayer as the path to peace. The old journal, with its faded ink mapping past storms weathered, lay open. Alex traced the lines, a sigh escaping, less of resignation now, more a quiet stirring of resolve. The potter's hands, unseen but undeniably felt through the evidence of past shaping, offered a strange comfort even as the current design remained obscure and, frankly, terrifying. But what if this pressure, this very moment of feeling overwhelmed to the point of breaking, wasn't just random suffering? What if this was the turning point? I can't do this anymore, Alex finally whispered, the words not an admission of defeat, but the cracking open of a door to a different kind of strength. It was the raw, desperate honesty that often precedes true prayer, the kind that abandons pretense and dives headfirst into vulnerability. Heavenly Father, the prayer began, hesitant at first, there is so much I just don't understand. So many questions I can't answer, So many situations completely outside my control. Confusion and a sense of powerlessness poured out, yet underpinning it all, a stubborn affirmation. But through all of this much I know, you are good. You are faithful, and you are with me. The prayer continued, a direct address to Jesus, the miracle worker whose power hasn't diminished with time, whose love hasn't grown distant. Then, a plea to the Holy Spirit. Reshape the way I see this. Not through these eyes clouded by fear, not through this lens of discouragement, but through the clear, steady eyes of faith. Alex voiced a pivotal shift in desire to stop demanding, when will this be over? And to start earnestly asking, Lord, what are you trying to teach me through this? Because, as Psalm 34 verse 17 promises, when the righteous cry for help, the Lord hears. And then, the words of Exodus 14 verse 14 echoed with newfound significance. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Still. What a radical concept in the midst of chaos. Alex consciously chose that stillness, a deliberate letting go, not of hope, but of the desperate striving in personal strength, choosing instead to rest in God's vast, unseen power. Nahum 1 verse 7 reinforced this. The Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble. In that profound, prayerful silence that followed, something unexpected happened. No grand revelation, no sudden blueprint materializing. Just a single, quiet word forming in Alex's mind. Held. Just held. Its full meaning was elusive, a gentle puzzle. Yet, the feeling it evoked was undeniable, a profound sense of being supported, a surrender that wasn't passive giving up, but an active, courageous leaning into a strength far beyond Alex's own, the mysterious word resonating like a soft, steady heartbeat in the quiet. Walking in the dawn, the unfolding goodness, that single, mysterious word, held, echoed in the quiet sanctuary of Alex's heart, not as a full explanation, but as a profound anchor. It was a whisper of peace in the lingering storm. As Alex pondered this, the pieces of this bewildering faith journey began to subtly connect. That initial, almost defiant clutch on Romans 8 verse 28, all things work together for good. The baffling divine exchange of presence instead of clear-cut plans, the stark reality of Psalm 34 verse 19, acknowledging affliction yet promising deliverance, the image of the potter's hands, shaping even through pressure, and the surprising strength found in total surrender. The path ahead wasn't suddenly illuminated with floodlights, no. But there was an undeniable sense of dawn breaking, a soft, hopeful glow on the horizon. Isn't it often true that full understanding only arrives in hindsight? We look back over the perplexing chapters of our lives and finally, with a sigh of recognition, say, now I see what you were doing. This journey of faith, Alex realized with growing conviction, isn't about possessing all the answers, a complete theological spreadsheet. It's about trusting the one who is the answer. A renewed sense of peace settled over Alex, a peace not born from resolved problems or a suddenly easy path, but from a deeper trust in God's unwavering presence and ultimate purpose. The image became clear. Alex stepping forward, not with a detailed, highlighted map, but with the steady compass of faith, its needle pointing resolutely towards the unseen waymaker, utterly convinced of being securely held, and that all things, indeed, were being intricately woven together for an ultimate, undeniable good. And so, perhaps the truest response in these moments is simply to rest, to wait with expectant hope, and to worship.